Welcome to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and I'm here with Sam. Today we're diving into a topic that's going to affect virtually every European enterprise in the next 18 months. Fractional AI Lead Architects and how they're reshaping governance for 2026. Sam, this is a fascinating area. Lots of organizations are scrambling right now.
Absolutely, Alex. And what's striking is the data. 68% of European enterprises lack formal AI governance frameworks, even though they're already deploying AI systems. That's not a small problem. That's a systemic governance crisis waiting to collide with the EU AI Act enforcement deadline.
So the 2026 deadline is real, and it's coming fast. Can you break down what that actually means for companies right now?
Sure, organizations need to demonstrate documented AI impact assessments, risk registers, transparent decision-making logs, human oversight for high-risk systems, and supply chain accountability. If you don't have those frameworks in place, you're looking at 18 to 24 months of accelerated transformation, redesigning processes, retraining teams, auditing existing systems. That's incredibly expensive and disruptive when done in crisis mode.
Which brings us to the Fractional AI Lead Architect model. McKinsey found that 62% of European enterprises actually prefer outsourced or fractional AI leadership. What's driving that preference?
Two things, really. First, cost. Fractional models deliver 30 to 50% savings compared to hiring a full-time C-suite executive. But more importantly, it's access to specialized expertise. Building comprehensive governance infrastructure requires architectural thinking that's hard to source full-time, especially for mid-market companies. A fractional AI lead architect brings proven governance architectures that you can implement immediately rather than building from scratch internally.
So it's not just about saving money, it's about accelerating outcomes. Let's talk about Agentic AI, because that's where things get really interesting. That's a paradigm shift from traditional machine learning, right?
Exactly. Traditional ML is static. You train a model, it integrates into your workflow, humans make decisions. Agentic AI is dynamic. These systems perceive, reason, and act autonomously within defined boundaries. They adapt decisions in real time based on context. Gartner and McKinsey both identify this as a dominant trend for 2026, with 65% of enterprise AI initiatives planning autonomous agent components.
That sounds powerful, but also risky if you don't have governance in place. What kind of governance do agents actually need?
4 critical pillars. First, trust architectures, mechanisms ensuring agents only operate within approved decision boundaries. Second, audit trails. Complete logging of agent reasoning and decisions so you can explain what happened. Third, failure mode analysis, predefined escalation protocols when agents hit uncertainty. Fourth, continuous monitoring, real-time drift detection, bias monitoring, performance validation. Without these, you're essentially running autonomous systems blind.
And I'm guessing many organizations are deploying agents without that infrastructure?
Absolutely. We're seeing common failure patterns, agents making decisions outside their approved scope, incomplete audit trails that create compliance blind spots, no escalation protocols when uncertainty emerges, and no real-time monitoring. It's like deploying a self-driving car without seatbelts or emergency brakes. The compliance exposure is enormous.
So how does a fractional AI lead architect actually help enterprises build this governance? What's the practical workflow here?
They start with an enterprise AI readiness assessment, mapping current AI systems, identifying governance gaps, understanding regulatory exposure. Then they design a governance framework tailored to your industry, risk profile, and business model. That includes establishing an AI center of excellence, defining decision trees for different risk categories, and building the audit and monitoring infrastructure. The fractional model means they're not a permanent cost center. They're building internal capability while implementing governance immediately.
An AI center of excellence. That's becoming table stakes, isn't it? What does that actually look like in a mid-sized organization?
It varies by organization, but typically you're looking at a cross-functional team, data scientists, compliance experts, domain specialists, and governance leads. The fractional architect essentially architects this function, establishes governance policies, creates decision frameworks, and trains the internal team to maintain and evolve governance over time. It's not about creating dependencies, it's about building institutional capability.
So the fractional model is designed to be temporary and knowledge transfer focused. What's the timeline for getting governance to a defensible state for 2026?
With a fractional AI lead architect, most organizations can move from governance gap to documented compliance frameworks in 6 to 12 months. That's significantly faster than the 18 to 24-month timeline McKinsey suggests for organizations doing this internally from scratch. The compressed timeline comes from applying proven architectures and best practices immediately rather than discovering them through trial and error.
And the cost-benefit math here is pretty compelling. You're talking about 30 to 50% savings versus a full-time executive, plus faster implementation and lower risk. Are there risks to the fractional model?
The main risk is treating the fractional architect as a checkbox, hiring them to document compliance without genuinely embedding governance into decision-making and operations. That doesn't work. The best outcomes happen when organizations view governance as a competitive advantage, not just a compliance exercise. A skilled fractional architect will push back on that mentality, but organizations have to be willing to listen.
That's a critical point. Governance isn't just about avoiding fines, it's about building trust, clarity, and scalability. Let's talk about the practical first steps for a company realizing they're unprepared for 2026.
Start with an honest assessment. What AI systems are currently deployed? How are decisions being made? Who's accountable? Where are the regulatory gaps? Then determine, do we need fractional support, full-time hiring, or a hybrid? What's our 2026 compliance target? From there, you can sketch a 12 to 18-month roadmap with specific milestones: governance framework designed, AI Center of Excellence operational, audit infrastructure live.
And this is where industry context really matters. The governance framework for a financial services company looks different from a healthcare or e-commerce company.
Completely different. Financial services faces sector-specific regulations around algorithmic trading, credit decisions, and market manipulation. Healthcare needs clinical validation, patient safety protocols, and liability frameworks. E-commerce is more about consumer protection and data privacy. A good fractional AI lead architect understands these nuances and designs governance that's both compliant and operationally sensible for your industry.
So as we head toward 2026, what's the key takeaway here for enterprises listening?
2 things. First, governance is not optional. It's coming via regulation whether you prepare or not. Second, you don't need to hire a full-time chief AI officer to solve this. Fractional AI lead architects offer a pragmatic, cost-effective path to defensible governance and agentic AI readiness. The window to prepare is closing, but it's not closed.
And the organizations that move fast on this will have a genuine competitive advantage when 2026 hits. They'll have clarity, trust, and the ability to scale responsibly. If you want to dive deeper into fractional AI lead architecture, enterprise governance frameworks, and 2026 readiness strategies, head over to etherlink.ai and find the full article. Thanks for joining us on EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and we'll be back with more next time.
Thanks, everyone. Stay governed, stay compliant, and we'll talk soon.